When I first saw it from Dr. Ellie David here, he says, who WHO's Ministry of Truth rewriting medical facts. Now, this is something that I just said yesterday, but to actually see it side by side is unreal. So take a look at this. Now, this is from June 9th, and this I've already confirmed this, and I have the actual. Oh, yeah. Now, actually, speaking of that, I don't even think I grabbed that. But while I'm looking at this, and while you're looking at this, let me make sure I can find this. Even if I can't, the point is that this is currently on their website. You can find this for yourself right now. Now, you can see side by side that they're quite different. Hopefully so. You can see that these things are not the same. I'm trying to find this really quickly in the background. Let's see. Here we go. Perfect. Glad I found it. Just so I have that up so we can look at that next. Now, coronavirus disease COVID-19 serology, June 9th, 2020. It says very clearly, when a population is immune either through vaccination or immunity developed through previous infection. Now, actually, I should give a quick preface on this for those that may not know the previous discussion. The idea is that herd immunity has been something that has been around for a long time. The idea that, again, if what we have been taught about vaccines and vaccine science is accurate, I think that caveat should apply to literally everything on our planet today. But if we're taught is correct, the idea is that you develop antibodies naturally by having a disease, such as when you get the chicken pox as a kid, or at least when we used to, because it wasn't dangerous, but now it's the most dangerous thing and you have to get a vaccine. You got picked chicken pox. You weren't in any real danger. You got it. You had a couple itchy things you dealt with, and then you never got it again. That wasn't from a vaccine. That was because of natural immunity. And herd immunity is the concept of that applying to a large population, so the disease is always there. And that's the thing we have to understand. These never go away. They never do. They're always part of the population going forward. We just develop immunity to these things. So the science and what we're told goes. So that being said, the WHO and the person on the main image today, Dr. Tedros of the WHO, is the first one I saw anyway, who straight up looked in the camera and said, there is the only thing that causes herd immunity is vaccines. There has never been herd immunity outside of vaccination. That was his statement. So that being said, here's June 9th before he said that, when it very clearly states it's either vaccine or immunity developed through previous infection. So going to the point, November 13th, after that statement was made, after this massive vaccine push, now it says herd immunity is a concept used for vaccination, right? Not even because of, but used for vaccination. Think about how incredible that is, in which a population can be protected from a certain virus if a threshold of vaccination is reached. Herd immunity is achieved by protecting people from a virus, not literally, actually saying not by exposing them to it. Now, you could argue that, okay, well, the science changed. They learned something and they changed it, but that didn't happen because that's not what was explained. It's simply, they are rewriting history in real time. They're saying that's never been the case, right? If there was some new science, they'd say, well, we've changed our mind because of the new science. No, they're saying it's never been the case. It's always been this definition, despite the fact that we can see the other definition. This is the benefit of having the internet today, even arguably it being something that was designed to subjugate us by DARPA and the military. That's a fact, by the way. But this is the whole idea in regard to any new technology, to realize that it's about how we apply it and not allow the authoritarian governments to tell us how to use it. I would argue that applies to any number of things, such as blockchain technology and so on. But these people are rightly so afraid of them because they are abused by powerful governments. So here is the actual website itself, and you can see that this is what they're talking about. If a threshold of vaccination is reached. This has been officially changed. Now, if you actually press the blue checks about this, they'll argue that this was always the case. This is the definition of Orwellian, right? This is, as Burmese calls it, the COVID 1984. This is a COVID clown world. It's unbelievable that we can be here. Now, the point is here to see something like this, where here Goldman is estimating that 26% of Americans are already immune to COVID. So how does that even make sense? How can they already be immune to COVID if they haven't gotten a vaccine yet? That they're talking about 26% of people who have already gotten this virus, according to what we understand and what we were told by their official sources, and that they now have immunity to it. The point is, this is common understanding, and they're trying to change this in real time. If there's ever been a moment where we understand that these entities, as I said right here, this is straight up Orwellian, but we can trust them with our health, though, right? If there's ever been a moment in history where we can recognize that a group like the WHO or any one of these entities is truly not in it for your best interest, this is one of those moments. They are trying to lie to you for an agenda. Now, you could argue that agenda is for your best interest, but that's an assumption, a very grand assumption, seeing as how these kind of vaccination programs have always done in the past. But they're telling us from a lot of different directions that plenty of people already have this. And why would they not want that to be the case? Why would they argue that that's not true and you only have the vaccination? Well, because they're using the vaccination as a program to arguably, and I think verifiably by the facts, create this technocratic control mechanism. British, and as well as the other experimental discussions and eugenics discussions, right? There's never just one thing that's happening. British government contracts firms to make COVID freedom passports. You know, that fake news conspiracy theory that's never actually happening while they build the exact thing that's never actually happening. It's quite interesting. All happening in real time while they argue that you're crazy for pointing it out.